Hi everyone, it's Chaos Magpie YouTube channel. Welcome back to another video on my channel. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the round 2 of the AFL season. If you are watching Chaos Magpies, welcome, like, comment, share. If you're new to the channel, watching for the first time, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Now, let's review the round 2 games and let's see what happens in the results itself. Can Carlton respond after losing to a young Richmond team, or can Hawthorn make it 3-0? Can the Footscray Bulldogs get the job done in a 100-year anniversary, or can the Magpies upset the Footscray Bulldogs and spoil the party? Can the Bombers win against the Adelaide Crows at the MCG, or can Adelaide break their hoodoo at the MCG? Can Port Adelaide defeat an undermanned Richmond team, or can Richmond make it 2-0? Can the Saints continue on their winning streak at Marvel Stadium and against the Cats, or can the Cats make it 2-0? Can the Lions get the job done against the Eagles, or will the Eagles win their first game of the season? Can North Melbourne upset the D's and win at Marvel Stadium, or can the D's make it 2-0? Or can make it 1-1, sorry. Can the Dockers win at home, or can Sydney make it 1-2? Now, let's go to Thursday night footy, shall we? 8-12-60 to 12-8-80. So 8-12-60, 12-8-80 is a 20-point win. Now, it felt like Hawthorn were in control, and it didn't look likely at any point that Carlton was going to spoil and really push hard. And I think what happened was that Hawthorn's ability to use their kicking skills in the way they drafted kids to play that Sam Mitchell way, in which Alistair Clarkson was, it's that kicking way it actually works, and drafting players on how they win, how to win, but most importantly is drafting players on developing their game and knowing to draft the right players for their game style and their game plan. Well, for Carlton, it's another loss, 0-2. Disappointingly, indeed, I did have this as a loss, and I did had 1-1, like Carlton beating Richmond, and therefore they'll lose to Hawthorn, they'll probably lose to the Western Bulldogs and also Collingwood as well within that run. But it does not look great from a Carlton point of view. Credit to Hawthorn when they got the job done, but the way that they play was sensational. And I hate going by the stats, but they had 55-54 inside 50s and had a lot more disposals. Now, the umpiring, look on both sides, I didn't notice much. I know that there's big talk about it. I didn't really notice it too much about it. I thought the calls were absolutely there, but how can you have 47-46 hit out, clearances 51-39, so you more than double, but to only have 11-10 in the centre clearances and stoppage clearances 40-29, but you lose the uncontested possessions in which Hawthorn has. Hawthorn had less turnovers than Carlton, 75-70, and 75-72 intercepts as well. Contested 147-143 and 215-159 in uncontested as well. So possessions, and they took 74 marks. Again, you keep it on the 80. That's good, but you should know how good they really are when it comes to that sort of type of game. 13-5 marks inside 50, and contested marks 9-8 as well, and the tackling 88-85 in tackles in the 450, 19-17 as well. So they're absolutely bloody dominating that aspect. Charlie Curnow was not ready to play. I'll tell you that right now. What I would have done with him is I would have put him in the VFL and really let him get that match fitness into him, because he's missed a lot of preseason with the injuries that he's had and the surgeries he's had. You got to build up your fitness, and unfortunately, I would have done it through the VFL. I would have played him against Box Hill at Icon Park on that Friday night, and just to see on how he goes and just monitor him carefully. The more that you do that, the more you can go, okay, well, he's done well. Does he get a game next week? Or do you give him like 2 or 3 weeks worth of the VFL program to build up his fitness, and then when he's ready to go, then you can bring him into the AFL. So, but why wouldn't you say he's not ready on against Richmond, but you're bringing him in on against Hawthorn when he didn't have that match fitness and that match hardened, as I always talk about. So there's still a lot of concerns out of that as well. Look, there's a lot of question marks in Carlton. I don't think they can beat the Bulldogs. I just don't see it. I think they'll be 0-3, and I think there's a lot of pressure on Michael Voss as it is. He is a shit coach. He's not a very good coach. He's an overrated coach. I think that they'll get rid of him. They'll find a way to get rid of him in that aspect as well. I don't rate him as a coach. I think he's just an assistant coach because he failed at the Lions and he's a failed coach at Carlton. And I think he's better off as an assistant than he is being a senior coach. The Magpies defeated Footscray by 6 points. 10-16-76, 10-10-70. Look, people, and I did the review and it's out. If you haven't checked it out, please do. A lot's been going on about the umpiring. There was one in Brisbane West Coast which Will Schofield did mention it. And even though there might have been a few instances of that, but I do think that, and it's not the reason why West Coast lost, but having said that, I think there were times where Bulldogs made the wrong decision and they turned the footy over when they didn't need to, and they were undisciplined during the night to give away so many free kicks. The Nick Douglas one, I did say that should have been paid against him. With Bailey Gale, his intention was to go out of bounds, because you can still tap it out of bounds. It doesn't have to matter if it goes out or not. You can still tap the ball out of bounds and you know that you're going to get the result out of that. Some players are good at disguising it and trying to get the rules to their advantage. And that's what every player on every team does. Like, if you can manipulate the rules to your advantage, then go for it. You don't have to like it or not as a fan, but that's the way footy is. Players are smart enough to try and draw free kicks and trying to get free kicks. So I don't think you need to blame the umpires for this. I looked at that game. 3 goals for 7 scoring shots to 6. They've had their chances in that first quarter. Man, I would say that 1 goal turn in that third quarter wasn't great. It really wasn't. There are times when they had the opportunities and they didn't take in that third quarter. The same thing in that second quarter. Our chances were 3 goals to 4 in that second quarter. Our chances were 3 goals to 4 in that second quarter. So, again, 3 goals 3. The same thing, 2 goals 5. We kicked some of these opportunities. It's not the umpiring decisions that would say, oh, Collingwood cheated, blah, blah, blah. It's the fact was that Collingwood missed the opportunities in front of goal, and that's what makes it difficult as well. So you have to be aware of that. And while I'm at it, that there's one thing or a couple of things I need to discuss. The free kick count doesn't have to be even. In every part of the sport, the free kicks count doesn't have to be anything. If you foul it's like the same in basketball. If you foul 6 times in a match, then it's either the opposition's done a good job at drawing the foul, or it's also the fact is that you panicked under pressure and you didn't need to foul at certain points. It's like you didn't have to give away free kicks. If you don't give away a free kick, you make it professional. But when you're playing that high pressure, the high pressure team and trying to tackle Collingwood players, you gotta make sure that you tackle them the right way. Collingwood does free kicks on the balls because Collingwood's pressure was so elite and the tackling was so elite. So naturally you're going to get rewarded that way. So I think it's time that footy fans need to get over the umpiring and all this as well. And that narrative is, you just have to put up with it. And yes, it's not right, but at the end of the day, the umpires make the decisions. We don't, right? And this is why that we aren't umpires, because I feel that we can all be biased towards our players and our teams. So you can have a disadvantage of free kick counts, and then, that's what's going to cause a fight. So you're better off not to do that. But I will say that I think it's time just to move on. Umpires make mistakes, but most importantly, the players make more mistakes than the umpires. I mean, why did we kick it through the corridor when we could have gone out wide? And you could have took a bit more time off the clock, and then you had opportunities to attack when we had to as well. And why didn't we take a chance? Same thing, the Bulldogs missed some of the easy set shots as well that they should have kicked. So there are lots of momentum swings in games. Also, too, for those people online commenting about Mason Cox, and the fact was vile, disgusting comments about Mason Cox, saying that he deserves it, he did the world a favour. Grow the fuck up. This isn't a time where people need to make stupid comments like this. If we did that to calm players, for example, if Charlie Kerner or Jamie Cameron got punched in the face like that, and you say, oh good, everyone did, he's a hero for doing that. Or just like someone punched Patrick Dangerfield and people commenting on that. On these posts, you are responsible for what you say. Because this is where, to me, that if you're not careful on what you say, there will be screenshots and there will be chances where people are going to post them out on their social media and go, look at this guy making comments, and you can delete them as much as you can. And there are a few people out there that do that, and what, you expect sympathy from people? No, you don't. That's not how the world works. It's like working, right? If you post something bad about work, right? If you say, don't buy from this place, blah, 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 they're shit. What do you think is going to happen? They can find out. All it takes is somebody to go, have a look at what this person wrote. And they go, oh, hang on a minute. If this goes around, you lose your jobs over it. And I think as content creators, when we use social media, we all need to be careful on what we say. And again, there's people that write nasty comments about Mason Cox. I think it's time that stops. There's no need for that. They wouldn't like it if we did to any of their players or we did to their club. And it's just but if you tease my club, I will come after you. Excuse me, that is a threat right there. And the fact is that you post that stuff on your stories or you post them up on your reels, whatever, right? The most disgusting comments like that are a joke, and you should not be allowed to have social media. The only reason why people have social media is because, like, you have singers that use it, so they get their music out there, so they get a massive following. Without social media, do you honestly think that people will have that sort of a following? No, they don't. They wouldn't. So again, social media is a very dangerous game to play, where we're all responsible for what we say, right? We are all responsible for what we say. And especially if you're working, whether you're working AFL or whether you're working at a normal open employment, there's no difference. Eventually, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass on what you say. And again, you're just a number, so that you can get rid of just like that. So again, as harsh as it is, the world out there, mate, nothing is perfect. We all make mistakes, right? But having said that, there's certain things that need to be kept off social media, because you're working for a company that, if their customers find out about it and they lose customers, what do you think it looks good on you? It does not. So I do think that those disgusting comments about Mason Cox, it needs to stop. It's viral. It's disgusting. If I see that, I'm gonna say something about that. Now I don't always see what happens on social media. I don't always go on it. If it pops up on my feed, it's a different story. I don't go out trying to look for that. But when it comes up and you say something, you are responsible for what you say, because you can lose your job over it. So that's my little rant. We better get back to talking about the footy, shall we? Because that needs to be said. The Adelaide Crows won by 61 points, 25-11, 161 to 15-10, 100 now. Well, I do say that the Crows did finally win their hoodoo since 2017. I thought Zach Merritt's been superb. 4 goals, 36 disposals. I think he probably deserves votes as well. Keys had 22 disposals, 4 goals too. Even Michelle, 16 disposals, 4 goals too as well. But they were good at Adelaide. They played really, really well, and you got to give them credit. Bar on who they beat, but you can only beat the teams that you can beat. Look, I did have Essendon in the 8. I think I had Adelaide my 8 too. But having said that, things can change. It is early in the season. It's 2 games in for Essendon. It is a little bit concerning, but we'll wait and see as well. Port Adelaide won by 72 points against the Tigers, 21-14, 40-9-14, 68 now. Unfortunately, there's a bit of damage to Jack Lukosha's knee, so he's going to be out for a fair bit as well. But having said that, Connor Rozee, 39 disposals, 2 goals straight as well. I thought he was sensational in how he played. Jace Burgoyne had 32 disposals and 2 goals straight as well, and Fowler had 31 disposals, 1 goal, 1. So absolutely looking good for what Port Adelaide did. But Richmond, look, it's not that bad. First loss for them in the season. Kind of expected it, to be honest. But I tell you what, there are huge losses like that's going to come their way as well. The Saints, 15-8, 98 to 13-13, 91. What a win by the Saints. They led by 41 points, and I thought McRae was sensational. If anything, best on ground by a long shot. Marshall had 29 disposals and 13 hit-outs. I thought he was fantastic himself, but the way that the Saints played, especially, they kind of stopped a little bit and they did make mistakes. But Nasai Wangani Malira, to get a foot to that, it may look like a goal, saved the day for the Saints. And streaming that game too, the Saints played really, really well. The umpiring a little bit, but at the end of the day, Cats had the chances to win. But the Saints provided the goods. So, what more can you say? Now, the Lions won by 19 points, 14-10-94 to 11-9-75. Now, the biggest lead that they got out to was 31 points. In a way, yes, they did choke because they were 31 points in front, but they were brave. And credit to Brisbane, they played really, really well to get the win. But one thing for sure that I would say is that Zorko had 28 disposals, played well. Berry had 26, 35 to lock in Yield. I thought, again, was superb. But it was good to see that Brisbane played and fought hard at the end. Yeah, they're unfair of the flag, but the attitude by Chris Fagan is that's 2024. You have to build your reputation up from the ground, and that is superb. So credit to the Eagles, fought hard, but there's not much you can do in that. You are going to have losses like that, but you can walk away, be proud of their effort as well. Look, Melbourne had a 59-point win against Melbourne, 19-11-125 to 9-12-66. Now, I did say, you think that Melbourne's forward line can find a way to score goals and that sort of thing, but North Melbourne's forward line and North Melbourne's defence was so good. I thought they played really, really well. Calvert Daniel, 31 disposals, absolutely superb. Oliver had 36. But it's good to see Cam Zerha kicking 4 goals, 1 with these 17 disposals. Jack Darling kicked 2 as well for 14. Luke Park had 22 disposals and a goal as well. Nick Larkey kicked 3 goals, 1. And Max Gordon had 11 disposals, 27 hit-outs as well. But there are a lot of concern, warning signs a little bit with Melbourne, losing 2 in a row. You don't want to lose like that next week. You got the Gold Coast Suns. So you want to bounce back pretty quickly as well. And then the Swans won by 3 points against the Dockers in the lowest scoring game, 9-14-68 to 9-11-65. Both teams kicked inaccurately in front of goal. But I do feel there were 1 rush for the Swans and 3 rush for the 1 rush for the Dockers and 3 rush for the Swans as well. But other than that, a really good win by the Swans. Warner, 26 disposals as well, looked good. 20 disposals for Jackson and 28 hit-outs as well. Brody Grundy was a sub-tactical. He had 11 disposals and 23 hit-outs. And I thought it was pretty much a really good performance from both teams. That it was a defensive game, but it was good to see that the Swans took their chances. A lot of misses as well, and there was a few bad calls in the Brisbane West Coast games, bizarre umpiring, but at the end of the day, I think Brisbane does deserve to win. Hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to drop a like, also drop a sub. Bye for now.